If Sabrina hadn't come knocking, I would never have known that my supposedly model husband had already fathered a child with his first love. He even had the nerve to say, "What do you understand? It's only because you can't give me kids. I'm letting you become a pain-free mother, and you still complain." Later, for her sake, he slapped me in front of everyone. I turned around and divorced him on the spot. Years later I saw him again at a classmate reunion. He gloated, "Now I not only have a son, Sterling Tech is about to go public. And you? How's life after leaving me?" Sabrina cooed beside him, "I remember, big sis, you've got infertility. So pitiful, no man wants you and you can't have kids." The whole room gasped. Just then a little boy burst in, ran straight to me, and yelled, "Mommy." The next time I met Julian was at that same reunion. By now he and Sabrina were the center of attention in the private dining room. Voices rose all around. "True love wins in the end. Told you, Sabrina, Julian could never get over you. You came back and he divorced her immediately. Everyone knows you're his white moonlight, Sabrina. That's the power of first love." Honestly, Arya was the homewrecker. She knew how tight you two were, and still, I stepped through the door and every voice died. They stared, mortified, while Julian's gaze glued itself to me. Only after I sat did he break the suffocating silence. "Long time no see. I've got a son now, and Sterling Tech is weeks from IPO." He looked me up and down, smirking. "So, life after me must be pretty grim, huh?" Whispers rippled. Her? Without Julian she'd never land better. Why show up unless she's still hung up on him? "Look at that dress, she's clearly scraping bottom." Before I could answer, Sabrina cut in. "Okay, enough." She clasped my hand, fake kind. "Arya, I remember your infertility, so tragic. Any luck with treatment? Julian and I can pull strings." Gasps circled the table, eyes flicked to me with ridicule and pity. We'd all attended the same college. Back then, Sabrina and Julian's romance had been legendary. Freshman year, though, Sabrina transferred away. Julian and I got together the following year. We were solid all the way from campus to wedding gown. But 5 years into marriage, Sabrina returned. The instant I opened the door she said, "Divorce Julian. You can't give him children, can you?" Before I could speak she stroked her belly. "Mine's clearly more cooperative." I snapped my head up. She flung a positive pregnancy test at my face, smiling like victory itself. "I can give Julian what you never will." After she left I sat trembling on the sofa, waiting for Julian. I couldn't believe my seemingly perfect husband had cheated, and fathered a child. He arrived swinging a box of my favorite macarons. "Honey, I'm home." He kissed me, then automatically threw crumpled paper from the table into the trash. "Sweetheart, what's wrong?" Julian always sensed my moods. I managed a bitter smile. "Sabrina came today." He frowned. "What did she say?" "Don't believe her. We're ancient history. I love only you." I pointed at the bin. "That trash you just tossed was her OBGYN report. Are you still lying to me?" He pulled me into a hug. "It's not what you think. This is for us." I pushed him away, lost. "You cheated and call it for us?" His patience snapped. "You're a stay-at-home, what do you understand? You can't give me kids. The child will call you mom, just raise him. You're getting the easy end." That night we had our ugliest fight in 8 years. Eventually I filed for divorce. I stepped aside so he and Sabrina could play happy family. Yet here she was, mocking me with the same story. I pulled my hand free and stared her down. "Who says I'm infertile? I'm married now, with a child." I lifted my left hand. The room erupted in laughter. Nothing there, King Midas's ring? Still bluffing? Barren and unwanted. A woman who can't give birth, what's the point? Look at those stained rags, she's destitute. Only then did I remember, in the art studio I'd slipped off my engagement ring so oil paint wouldn't cake it. My clothes were old coveralls I wore while painting. Julian sneered, admit it, Arya, life without me is hell. Who else on earth would marry you? Sabrina burned with jealousy because Julian couldn't stop staring. She hurried on, apologize for what you did back then, Arya. We'll find top doctors for you. Old classmates look out for each other, Julian and I can help. Whispers flew. What did she do? You didn't know? She almost caused Sabrina to miscarry. Sabrina's an angel, she only wants an apology. How dare she bring that up? When I'd learned about them I'd asked for divorce. Julian refused, cold and calm. How long will you keep this up? This child will be yours. Just take care of him, why can't you grasp that? Ridiculous. He expected me to raise his child with Sabrina. Both of them had careers, I was the stay-at-home. He'd once sweet-talked me into staying home. He lavished money and gifts on me. Days drifted by, light chores, long naps. I felt blessed. But gradually I realized I'd lost all connection to the outside world. Julian had built me a gilded cage. Whenever I mentioned divorce he scoffed, you haven't worked in 5 years. You'd never survive without me. It all ended the night he threw Sabrina a birthday gala so extravagant the grand ballroom glittered like morning frost under 1,000 crystal lights. I barged in, looking for Julian to sign the divorce papers. I never expected Sabrina to block my way. Who said you could come looking for him? Do you really think you can steal my Julian just because I was gone for a few years? As she spoke, she grabbed my hand and then hurled herself toward the corner of the table. At her scream Julian came rushing in. Sabrina feigned weakness. Why? Why did she have to hurt our child? The baby is innocent. I couldn't believe she would risk her own pregnancy just for Julian's sake. Julian glared at me, eyes bloodshot. I shook my head frantically. It wasn't me. I never laid a hand on her. We had loved each other for 8 years, yet at this moment he didn't believe me. A sharp slap rang through the grand ballroom. Julian struck me in front of everyone and roared, "You vicious woman." The force sent me crashing to the floor, my ears rang without end. When Sabrina started bleeding she was rushed straight to St. Hospital. But Julian stared at the blood on the tiles, eyes wide with fury. He stomped on my hand. Was this the hand that shoved Sabrina? Excruciating pain shot from my fingers through my whole body. I screamed, yet he showed no sign of letting up. I finally have a child, and you're determined to destroy it. You barren old hen. If anything happens to Sabrina or the baby, I swear I'll make you pay. Only when the bones in my right fingers cracked did he lift his foot and walk away, leaving me to be humiliated by the crowd. I looked at my mangled right hand, tears flooding my eyes. Julian knew how much I loved to paint, so he personally crushed the hand that held a brush. Now, gazing at the right hand I've struggled so hard to heal, I feel no real relief. The agony of that hand, the betrayal of the man I loved, and the public disgrace are burned into me. And Sabrina still has the gall to bring it up. I said coldly, for what happened back then, the ones who owe an apology are you too. Why on earth should I apologize to you? Sabrina instantly put on a wounded look, dabbing fake tears. Julian clenched his fists and frowned. Arya, you almost cost my son his life. And you dare talk like this? Why are you still so evil? The onlookers, clueless about the truth, joined the condemnation. Oh my God, who knew Arya had such a venomous heart, attacking a child? Someone like that doesn't deserve forgiveness even if she apologizes. Exactly, she's rotten. Look how heartbroken Sabrina is. Sabrina sprang up, shoved me off my chair, and sent me sprawling. Looks like you won't learn without a lesson. With that, she kicked me in the stomach. The rest followed suit, splashing their drinks in my face. In seconds, I became the target of their outrage. Sticky juice dripped into my eyes, I could barely see. Sabrina kicked and stomped again and again until I lay crumpled on the floor. Enough, Julian ordered. We don't want people thinking we're bullying her. They stopped at once. I pulled myself up, wiped the juice from my face. Julian snapped, if Sabrina hadn't stopped me, I'd have called the police. Someone as kind as Sabrina only wants an apology, surely that's not asking too much. I looked at the man in front of me, let out a cold laugh. She told you not to call the police? That sounds like a guilty conscience to me. Julian shot to his feet, teeth clenched. Arya, I know you're jealous that Sabrina took me away. I also know you came to this classmate gathering for me. But I'm married now, I have a family. No matter how shamelessly you throw yourself at me, I'll never, I cut him off. For the last time, I'm already married. Julian's face was nothing but disdain. Who else would marry you besides me? Before I could answer, a classmate who'd gone to the restroom hurried back in. I just saw Riverdale and his son outside our private dining room. The rest of the class gasped. Someone that rich, what's he doing here? I want to see Little. If the tycoon's that gorgeous, the kid must be adorable. I'm dying to know who Hawthorne is. He keeps her so private, total wife protector vibes. The moment the words left their lips, a little boy toddled straight into our room. I waved at him. I'm right here. The child chirped in his baby voice, Mommy. Everyone froze. Sabrina was first to sneer. Kids this young call any woman mommy. So Arya, you chase deep pockets, huh? First Julian, now the crown prince? The others caught on fast. Her family's broke, of course she'll grab any golden thigh she sees. Pathetic. The prince is already married, does she plan to be the other woman again? Arya, quit forcing your way into circles that don't want you. Julian's company is about to go IPO, he and Sabrina will soon move in the prince's orbit themselves. Just then Adrian stepped inside. Julian leapt up, bowing and scraping. Good afternoon, Hawthorne. I'm Julian, Sterling Tech is about to IPO, your support would mean everything. Adrian didn't even glance at him, he walked straight past. Julian's outstretched hand hung in empty air. Sabrina hastened to complain, Hawthorne, someone here bullied Little and made him call her mommy. She pointed straight at me. Adrian spotted me, pulled out a handkerchief, and gently wiped the juice from my face, frowning. Sweetheart, what happened? I looked at the stunned Julian and almost laughed. In that earlier marriage, the one with the problem had never been me. Hugging my son, I said icily, this is my child, Theo. And this is my husband, Adrian. The entire room stared, mouths open. Is this real? Arya married Riverdale? And they already have a son. Sabrina swore she was infertile. Sabrina and Julian are toast, after treating Arya like that. Everyone knows how protective Hawthorne is of his wife. Sabrina staggered, barely staying upright. You're Hawthorne? Impossible. Why would Riverdale ever want you? After Sabrina gave Julian a son, he finally signed the divorce papers. Yet he still refused to set me free. Terrified someone else might marry me, he spread the lie that I was infertile throughout the circle, even fabricated stories that I'd cheated and lived a sleazy life. My reputation was ruined. His rumors made my sick grandmother's condition worse. The doctor said she had to be transferred to the city hospital for surgery, but the total cost was more than I could scrape together. I wept as I begged Julian to help. He wouldn't even grant me a meeting. The day he married Sabrina was the day I buried Eleanor. That afternoon remains the most wretched, most helpless of my life. The afternoon my only blood left this world. After that, I left the city with nothing left to lose. I tried to paint with my left hand, clumsy, but lines finally appeared. For 3 full years I painted, until the first canvas sold. Adrian was the buyer. He tracked me down, stunned that the work had been done left-handed. Learning my story, he spent a fortune rebuilding my right hand. Then he kept appearing. An entire year of visits, first about art, later about ourselves. Eventually he confessed his feelings. I refused, certain the gap between our worlds was too wide. Not long after, my prices climbed and I mounted my own exhibition. Only then did I say yes. We clicked, married, had a child, swift, seamless. The tale sounds impossible, which is why Sabrina can't swallow it. I gave her a bright smile. Sabrina, facts are facts. What's so hard to believe? Adrian's face darkened. Were you the one bullying my wife just now? Before Sabrina could speak, 2 bodyguards appended drinks over her head. Shivering, she kept muttering, "It's over, it's over." Julian shoved through the crowd to me. "Aria, how long will you keep acting? These people are your hired cast, right? You loved me, how could you marry someone else in a few short years? You came to this classmate reunion for me." I nodded. "You're right. I did come for you. Not to reconcile, to ruin you." He preened. "I knew it. You could never marry another, never have a child. All this theater just to spite me. All these years and you still can't forget me, can you?" I swung my palm across his shameless cheek. He staggered, clutching his face, eyes wide. I laughed. "Surprised? I'm only returning what you once gave me." The smile vanished. "I haven't forgotten you, Julian, because I hate you. You betrayed me, humiliated me, shattered my hand and my future, and spread rumors that I caused Eleanor's death." He had pursued me then, fresh from losing Sabrina. I knew he hadn't healed, but his persistence wore me down. I said yes and tried to erase her shadow from his heart. We were happy, he proposed soon after graduation. Naive me believed she was finally gone. But 5 years in, Sabrina reappeared and he snapped back. Or maybe he had never changed, 8 years of lies. I'd wanted a quiet divorce, he refused to let me breathe. Even after signing, he tried to destroy me. On Eleanor's funeral day my phone buzzed with photos of their wedding. That moment every last drop of love curdled into hate. Julian stood slack-jawed, face ashen. Adrian stepped in front of me. "So you're the ex-husband who pushed Yao Yao into depression." I dragged her out of that abyss. "Do you have any idea how long it took?" His voice iced over. "Everyone who bullied my wife tonight will pay. As for you too, IPO, isn't it? Sterling Tech will never see a trading day." Julian blanched. Sabrina shrieked, "What do we do, Julian?" He shoved her aside and crawled toward Adrian. "Hawthorne, that company is my life, please." Adrian kicked him away and turned to leave the private dining room. Julian held after us. "Hawthorne, she's vicious. She tried to kill my unborn son." I wheeled around, still smiling. I almost forgot. I shoved my phone in his face and hit play. On screen, Sabrina spoke to me, seized my wrist, then hurled herself against a table. Gasps rippled through the room. She staged it all? A mother hurting her own baby, unbelievable. And she dared accuse Aria? A perfect match, 2 monsters. Sabrina flailed. "Julian, it's a lie. She's trying to split us, I'd never hurt our child." She lunged, bodyguards pinned her. I clucked my tongue. Cold-hearted mommy. When you schemed against me, you should have known the truth would surface. Sabrina snarled. "Barren hen, Where did this little come from, huh? She reached for Theo, I shielded him. Julian barked a laugh. Yeah, you're infertile, impossible. I looked at him with pity. Julian, you're the one who's sterile, not me. The problem is yours. Back then we tried for 2 fruitless years. I suggested tests at St. Hospital. A work call pulled him away. I faced the OBGYN report alone. Azoospermia stared back at me. To spare his pride, I claimed the fault was mine. He shrugged, we don't need kids. Yet in the end he was the one who reneged. Julian sneered. If I'm sterile, how could Sabrina give me a son? I spoke softly. Maybe he isn't yours at all. She vanished for years, married a rich old man. When he went bankrupt, she learned you'd founded Sterling Tech, so she returned with the child. I scattered the evidence like confetti across his chest. Julian's hand shook as he finished reading the file, then he sprang up. He locked his fingers around Sabrina's throat and roared, "You lied to me for years. You made me raise another man's child, you bitch." Sabrina's eyes were red, she shook her head frantically. When I left, debt collectors were at the door, I had no choice. I was terrified of being poor, that's why I married a man old enough to be my father. But the one I've always loved is you, Julian. Julian gave a cold laugh. Which sentence am I supposed to believe? You wrecked my marriage and had me raise your kid with someone else. He shoved her away. The push sent her crashing into the table. She gasped in pain, but Julian didn't even glance at her. He turned and sneered at me. Arya, you insisted on the divorce, had you already latched onto Riverdale's crown prince? No wonder you walked away with nothing. I answered his malice with a mocking smile. You cheated, don't project your filth onto me. I left because you disgusted me. I took my son and Adrian and walked out. The moment we were in the car, Adrian clasped my hand. Arya, I'm sorry I didn't get here sooner. I'll make every one of them pay. Adrian is the man who knows every scar of my past and still loves me. First he gambled everything to heal my hand, then he fought to make my dream real. These years with him taught me what love actually is, respect that lets you become yourself. Not Julian's ivory cage, his idea of love was control. The next day Adrian kept his word. The classmates who'd led the pack against me all lost their jobs. Sabrina's rotten history splashed across every screen, her reputation in the gilded circle was shredded. But that exposé wasn't Adrian's doing. As for Julian, Sterling Tech's IPO was dead, the company listing toward bankruptcy. Adrian wrapped his arms around me from behind. Don't think me cruel, I can't watch you bleed again. I squeezed his fingers. I'm past it. With you and Theo, I'm happy, how could I go back? Only when he heard that did the tension leave his shoulders. I thought the circus was over, but a few days later Julian waited outside my art studio clutching tulips, gaze timid, exactly like when he'd first chased me. Arya, I've divorced that lying Sabrina. I aired every dirty detail, her life is hell now. So he'd been the one pulling the trigger. I laughed coldly. Does every woman who leaves you get destroyed? His face stiffened, he remembered the rumors he'd spread after our divorce. I only did that because I couldn't stand the thought of you with someone else, he rushed. I never stopped loving you. If Sabrina hadn't tricked me and slandered you, we'd still be together. 8 years, Arya, from dorm room to penthouse, you shared every step. Feelings don't vanish. I almost pitied him. Really? If you loved me so much, why did you cheat with Sabrina the minute we were married? His eyes reddened. She seduced me. Arya, I'm begging, just forgive me once. You married and had a child so fast, you're only trying to spite me. I freed my hand. I moved on because Adrian loves me completely. I have a husband and a son, why should I rewind the tape? Seeing his wounded look, I wiped the smile off my face. The moment you humiliated me and shattered my fingers, I stopped loving you. When your lies hounded my grandmother to her death, I started hating you. He shook his head bitterly. No, 8 years, Arya. You can't just switch it off. I turned to leave. He yanked a crumpled slip from his pocket and pressed it into my palm. Scrawled across it, coupon, 1 makeup, remember? You gave it to me on my last birthday. I teased you for being childish. I swore we'd never need it, but you made me keep it. He was smiling through tears. That night, months before our divorce, I had baked him a cake myself. I'd presented each gift, he'd answered with lazy nods. Soon after, a call pulled him to the office. No cake, no birthday sex, just an all-nighter. Now I knew he'd rushed to Sabrina's celebration. Every second with me had been a chore. The coupon he once mocked had become sacred. I accepted it, hope flared in his eyes. I tore it in half and let the pieces fall. Grow up, Julian. He dropped to the pavement, scrambling to gather every scrap, desperate to tape them together. I walked into my studio without a backward glance. For days, rain or shine, he stood outside, pleading for another chance. When Adrian learned of it, he began driving me himself. One evening I stepped out and Julian shoved the taped coupon into my hand, still missing one jagged corner. I searched everywhere, he sighed. I tossed it back. Broken glass never fits together without cracks. Even if it did, the fractures stay, just like the ones you carved in me. He clutched my wrist. Arya, take me back and I'll raise Theo as my own. We'll go back to the way it was, afternoon tea, dinner waiting, nights together. A shadow stepped between us, cutting him off. What are you even saying? Arya's hands were made to hold a brush, not a spatula. Do you have any idea how gifted she is? Why would you waste that? It was Adrian. Julian knew exactly how much I loved to paint, knew how much raw talent ran through my fingers. Yet he still chose to lock me away, to twist me into a stay-at-home clinging to his sleeve. And for Sabrina's sake, he had still coldly crushed my right hand beneath his heel. Because in Julian's universe, nothing outweighed Julian himself. The only person he has ever loved is the one staring back in every mirror. Sabrina, me, just the most convenient option on any given day. So after Sabrina walked out, he chased me. So after 5 years of marriage, he cheated with Sabrina. So now, with the truth finally spilling out, he begs me to come back. Julian opened his mouth again. Adrian cut him off. Instead of drooling over my wife, maybe go check if your company is still standing. With that, Adrian pulled me away. We hadn't gone 3 steps when Julian shouted after me, Arya, don't forget who buried that story for you. I stopped dead, turned, and walked straight back. He had used that sentence countless times. Always as a chain. Back in college I'd enrolled in an art academy. A senior a few years older molested me, even snapped secret photos. He warned that if I told anyone, he'd leak them. Terrorized, I still confessed to Julian. That same day he hunted the senior down, beat him senseless, and retrieved the pictures. For a moment I thought he'd saved me. I never imagined that the first time he tried to block me from painting, he'd pull those sick photos out again. Be good, Arya. Listen this time. Don't forget I'm the one who buried that mess for you. The scene replayed over and over, whenever he wanted me to quit. After the wedding the weapon turned to sweet talk, and the photos stayed hidden, until now. I screamed at him, go ahead, tell the world. That perv committed the crime, why should I be the one who's ashamed? I was shaking. Julian reached out, stammering, I didn't mean, my vision tunneled, the floor rose up. When I opened my eyes again, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead and antiseptic filled my nose. Adrian's fingers tightened around mine. Hey, Arya, how do you feel? I'm fine, but why did I faint? His eyes reddened even as he grinned. Honey, you're pregnant. The doctor said the shock made you pass out. I slid a tentative palm to my belly and whispered a wish, let it be a daughter. Adrian's voice iced over. I already sent people to destroy the garbage Julian was threatening you with. I shook my head. It's over. If he ever spreads a pixel, I'll call the officer myself. I'm not the 20-year-old girl who once trembled. I finally understand, the predator's sin never stains the prey. Since the tests were perfect, I checked out the next morning. To let me paint while I carried our baby, Adrian moved the entire art studio into the house, easels, oils, every last brush, so I could start a canvas when I felt like it or curl up with Theo and macarons the next second. Peace lasted exactly 7 days. Then the front door thundered. Sabrina stood on the threshold. You already married Riverdale, why are you still stealing my Julian? You're the latecomer, so why can't he forget you? I backed away, arms instinctively shielding my stomach. I divorced Julian. Whatever happens between you two is none of my business. Please leave. I tried to shut the door, she wedged her heel in, smile warping. You're pregnant, aren't you? Once you've carried a child, you can spot the signs. My pulse spiked. What do you want? Her grin vanished. You made Julian abandon me. If I can't be happy, neither can you. She lunged to shove me. Julian barreled in from nowhere, flinging her aside. Why keep hurting Arya? Sabrina scrambled up, hurling herself at me again. If she disappears, you won't file for divorce, right? Her palms slammed into my shoulders. I landed hard on my backside but kept my belly safe. The next sound was a dull thud. Sabrina crumpled, blood blooming beneath her skull. Behind her, Julian stared at a brick dripping crimson, stunned. I did it for you. You have to come back to me. He grabbed my wrist. I tore free. Julian, you love nobody. You're not worthy of a single soul, you're a soulless dealmaker. Before he could answer, sirens wailed. The officer cuffed him and guided him into the cruiser. He twisted around, eyes begging all the way down the drive. Adrian sprinted home, hands roaming every inch of me. He crushed me to his chest. I'm not setting foot outside again. Work can rot, I'm protecting you. No assurance convinced him otherwise. He commandeered the dining table for Sterling Tech video calls, materializing at my elbow if I so much aside. Weeks later the judge sentenced Julian. Sabrina's head trauma locked her in a vegetative state, she hasn't opened her eyes since. My belly rounded, month after month. Adrian's vigilance turned theatrical, breakfast in bed, foot massages on demand, doors opened before I even reached for the handle. At last I delivered a wailing, rose-lipped daughter. The 4 of us, Adrian, Theo, our baby girl, and me, stepped into the first chapter of a brand new life. Thanks for listening to our story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked this video, smash the like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more gripping tales. See you next time.